Hey y'all, I'm Jelena and welcome to this new segment on my channel called the Lyricana. It's basically just going to be a segment about songwriting, tips and tricks on how to songwrite, how to be a better songwriter, how to develop your songwriting, pretty much everything in between. We're going to be doing this by me giving out tips that I think are genuinely helpful for you to build a song, and then we're going to be looking at examples of what exactly I mean in my own songwriting. So that's kind of straightforward. As of right now, my credentials are I was a published poet at 16. I graduated with my bachelor's in communications and music this past December. And I am the lead singer and songwriter for the band Jelena and the Diamondbacks. And I will put all the information so you can go and follow us on there and see our songs played live and fully produced and stuff like that. But for right now, we're just going to be going over the acoustic development and building of the songs here. The song that we're going to be going over today from my arsenal is called Fade Away. It is on the EP, I think it's just Jelena Fade Away EP. It's the title for the EP. I've said it so many times. People like the song. It's slow. I typically write slow songs, not on purpose. I used to be really sad. We're gonna skip right over that. If you want to just follow along on here, that's fine. I have my lyrics with notes, but in the description, I will be putting a downloadable copy. It's they're lyrics. It's free, so if you want, you can have that printed out or just have it downloaded so you can see what I'm talking about. Just so you can visually see where I'm jumping around. So tip number one is to always record. Not like the most important ever, but necessary in every songwriting session that you have is to always record. So this could be a video. I think one time I wrote a song like recording myself visually and whatever. Most of the time I use my voice memos or my voice notes in my phone, and other times when it's just lines and I don't have a melody, I just write it down on, I think I've written them down on like receipts, index cards, post-it notes. Sometimes just use your phone, but always record, even if you have to like step out or something. There's been times when I've been washing dishes and I'm like, oh, that's a really cool line, and I write it down, and then I go back and wash the dishes. I say that it's important because you have to cultivate your songwriting ideas, and even though this is like a long-term thing, you should do that. Always record. That's the best way to go about things. That way you never lose it. If you forget a melody, you can just revisit it. The example for this is the actual beginning of Fade Away. Fade Away started with the first verse, and I will let you listen to that.
No amount of aloe vera is gonna clear this wound. Just baby soft skin, pray to the moon.
Right, so the funny part about that is that the whole reason why I was writing Fade Away, at the beginning, it was after a breakup. I was going through heartbreak, and I think it's hilarious that you can hear the congestion in the recording. I wrote that in December of 2021, May of 2022. So this is like, what, almost 6 months later, I tried building on it. So basically, record. Tip number 2 is going to be to steal chord progressions. I mean, I think everyone will agree that great artists steal everything. And that is what makes them great. I mean it, but also I have to say this, obviously it is somewhat a joke. I'm not saying to plagiarize, basically. I'm not saying to steal somebody's exact chord progression and their rhythm. I'm not saying to steal their lyrics. I'm saying to steal their chord progressions. Chord progressions are not copyrighted. And so it's easier to build a song with a chord progression from a song that you already like. That sounds really nice. It's just a D chord and an A major 7. Of course, it's different because the capo is up here on the 5th fret. Whatever. Where I had originally played it, and I think learned it, I think it was without the capo. Those chords, where I'm grabbing it from, is Dance Baby by Boy Pablo. The dance with me, baby, dance with me, baby, let's get lost right here. And that is how you steal. I wrote the first verse because I had that stuck in my head, and I thought it sounded sad, and I loved it. And later in May, when I revisited it, I jumped directly into the pre-chorus, and I didn't know what I wanted. It was a B B minor, a C sharp minor, both of which are again in the progression. The chord progression is already there. Use it. Don't reinvent the wheel. Once again, great artist, steal. Yes. So I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, okay, Julina, you told me to like record. I've got my phone on. I'm recording. You said to steal like chord progressions. Okay, I've got my chords. What am I supposed to like? Where am I pulling these words from? So here's how to start writing your song. So my tip number 3 is to visualize. What I'm gonna tell you is it's basically show don't tell. But how do you do that, right? How do you show don't tell? Is to imagine your story, which that could be one that you're watching or you retelling some kind of story that you're going through or how you feel currently. What does that look like on the outside? I would also like to mention that because this was 5 months after that my first verse, which was when I was actually in it, I no longer felt that way. But you still have to go back to that. You're still watching that person go through it, right? In order to finish the story, right? That's the whole point, to tell a story. And so I was trying to go back and remember, okay, what was I feeling? And I was this person who had just been through an awful breakup. And I was thinking like, you know, when you are after a breakup, you try to feel better. You go out with friends, or you go partying, or you get more dressed up, you do your makeup, you do skincare. And even though you do those things, afterwards, you don't feel any better. At least in my experience, I did not feel any better. That's how this whole song got started. I wanted to do a face mask, and then I was like, for what? For me to cry it off? And I was like, oh, that touched a very sensitive nerve. Let's write about it. Basically, what does it look like on the outside? Another idea is in the chorus where it's like, rain has put out the match, nothing left to burn myself with. Not related at all. Couldn't help but think of the like lighter match meme with like a candle. It's something that it's not even like sad at all, but that's what I could like, that's all I could think of. And so hey, it got put into the song, you know. Visualization is so important, at least, and that's the tip I'm gonna give. Ultimately, what would this look like if you're watching it as a movie? And write that. Tip 4 is going to be to sing nonsense. You have your base for the song, right? Which is the chords. You have your visual. So now you just start saying stuff about it. Remember, what was your first rule? Record. Tip number 1, record. And when you record, you play the chords that you already got, and you think of your visual, and then you start singing nonsense related to that. When I say related, I don't mean you very scientifically and strategically talk about it. I mean whatever pops into your brain, go with it. I mean, you guys just heard me talk about the stupid lighter meme. The whole like lighter match meme has nothing to do with heartbreak. Not really. It's a meme. What? It's a comic. But I just babbled about rain, like putting on a match, and then something about burning, which I don't know what that means. I'm just pain. Hey, it has something to do with pain. And then it makes sense. The brain is always searching for patterns, right? Always searching for connections. That is like its job. Subconsciously, you are looking for patterns. That job is already being like handled for you without you having to do anything. And so when it comes to like actually just saying nonsense, what may seem like nonsense to you sometimes is actually key parts to a good song that you're already writing. Don't let your critic get in the way of being creative. That's pretty much at the heart of this. And you do that by singing nonsense. You have to trust yourself. Even if you don't, you can't shut yourself down. It's the same thing as cultivating it, which is to, you know, be grateful for whatever ideas you get when you're washing dishes or when you're walking your dog. And this, when you're actually in your little session that you've made for yourself, you don't discount ideas because you think that they're stupid. Some of them are going to be cringy. Some of them are going to be lame. Some of them are not going to make any sense. But some of them are going to be like golden nuggets that you don't even know how you wrote. You'll be like, there's no way I wrote it. You're going to be so giddy. And you're going to be like, I have no idea. There's no way I wrote that, but I did. But you can't get there until you sift through the other ones. And so you have to allow yourself to just say dumb stuff. If you take nothing else from this, take the fact that you just say dumb stuff. Just write anything. Writing anything is a step closer to writing a song than writing nothing. My last tip for this video is to recycle. This is somewhat similar to the earlier tip, which was to steal from other people's songs that you like, their chord progressions. This is to steal your own stuff that you like and recycle it and use it again. So like one example of recycling is Buzzing Streetlights, They Hum Your Song in verse 2, and Dizzy Streetlights, Down to the Beach in verse 3. I really liked the idea of the streetlights, okay? In verse 2, Buzzing Streetlights, it's kind of nagging. It irks them that they can't get over it, right? Versus Dizzy Streetlights, like you're like blissfully ignorant in like the most satisfying way possible. Those two being very similar, like they're recycled, but she's moved on. That is a nice resolution. And it's just recycling. I like the streetlights, so I recycled it. I just did it again. Basically, that's how you do that. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really liked going over this. I don't really get to talk about this to anybody. I hope y'all like it. I hope y'all got something out of it. If y'all do use this for songwriting, please let me know. I would love to hear the songs. I mean, if you haven't, now would be a good time to listen to this song, which should be available like everywhere. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. That was fun for me. I hope y'all liked it. Here, while you guys are typing in the comments and doing all that stuff, I will be singing the last two choruses of it. Okay, thanks. Bye, y'all. Okay.
The candlelight is on. No more being left in the dark. Fade away. You fade away. Oh, I'm glad I didn't stay. You fade